like try and check us.
I think Guinea would probably. I
Okay.
think Guinea will be against you. You eating the necromantic pendant. She's trying to trying to look after your diet. Please,
I wonder why.
you shouldn't be eating something that has anything death related.
Question, DM. Like, would that be able? Would we be able to do that? Because if you break magic items, usually they lose their magic, right? But this one is obviously already broken.
It's strange, yeah, because you do see that it's split into parts, and you're not sure what the deal is with that. I mean, technically, usually magic items that are enchanted are generally strengthened by the enchantments placed upon them and are fairly difficult to break. So you're not sure what you're going to need if you would need specialist equipment. But I mean, you could guess that you're probably not going to be able to chip this with a rock or something.
No, I figured he had artificer tools and like other equipment, and since it seems like we're down here and we have enough time that we could like fortify ourselves in this room,
Yeah.
or he and Dresden and Guts can, and Gine and I can go deliver
I could
or
probably
get food, or like go back to the engraving doors, or we could all just
yeah.
take a nice long rest. And does this character have the cooking tools?
Us? I don't have any cooking tools, but
Oh no, I don't. Sorry. I usually snag up cooking utensils as just an item to have in case something like this happens. Where, I mean, we got a bunch of meat and wine. Can make a pretty
and
good
an egg.
stew.
And a dinosaur egg. Anyways, I do have.
Might not be, that's going to be like 1,000-year-old egg, not like scrambled, eh? There's probably something in there already.
But just in case, I do have my phone here, and if my output does lamp power, I can still talk through Discord.
I'm back.
Okay, cool.
Grace?
So if I made everybody wait.
No worries. Looks like we're all back. I am waiting. There we are. You guys all see your happy little canoe. Maybe what's not too happy as well. Now, it's a couple of Dimetrodons is what Coppersworth would tell you. Now, you guys would be a little bit further back before you saw this. They are on the side of the river. They're on out of this large rock, sunning themselves. One or two has kind of slipped into the water. And Coppersworth is unsure, or how you guys want to approach the situation is up to you, really. If you want to, push past them, do something about it, or even kind of call it here, get off the river early.
I think from Guinea, I think if they need to get some rest, they need some rest. So Guinea will vote to get off early.
I think getting off early would be a good idea. Are those the Metrodons? I think I said that right. On the undead side or on the safe side?
They are on the undead side.
Oh, okay. Well, I think getting off would be a good idea because they're on the wrong side, anyways, for us.
Okay, so the choice is made to kind of get off and push into the jungle.
Yeah.
You guys pull off onto the side, and hopping off onto the spongy earth, you look around to the very thick underbrush nearby. A couple of trails where animals must frequently come to the river to drink, kind of offer a little bit of an easier trail into the underbrush, but in general, it's going to be thick and hard going. Coppersworth would recommend probably to pull the canoe up and like hide it, probably off the ground if you could, maybe like push it into some thick bushes or something like that.
All right, let's do that together. I'll help with my 8 strength.
yeah. I think Guts would do definitely the heavy lifting, but Guinea would definitely help as well.
What were you going to say,
Yeah, we'll
Trey?
see. Is it possible to pull the canoe using a rope or something into a tree? Like
Yeah, that's what I
elevate
thought
it?
as well.
Nice. Yeah, you could definitely do that. And hang it up out of the reach of everybody. There wouldn't be enough enemy to be a cool place to sleep, but unfortunately wouldn't really fit all of you guys, I think. Unless you
Yeah, I think that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna have to find somewhere of your own to sleep, whether it be up in the trees or a defensible position nearby. It's not very comfortable sleeping up in the branches, but you can avoid some of the perils. Although you open yourself up to others. So it's kind of up to you guys how you want to approach this, how worried you're looking. I mean, the sun's mostly gone down at this point, so around you is just kind of dark brush. You can't see very far. You kind of hear that the jungle doesn't sleep; it just kind of swaps onto a different, just swaps to night shift, and a whole bunch of other animals come out.
I'd ask Coppersworth, since as our guide, what nocturnal threats do we face, especially in the trees?
So mm, in the trees themselves, you're probably a bit better off than in the ground. You've got kind of poisonous vines to worry about. Nocturnal hunters may include some of the larger cats, like panthers and things like that. Tigers specifically. There's a bit of a were tiger population in at somewhere in the jungle. People are aware of it.
Nope, they're not here. Also, I would inform the party that I can take second watch after taking like a 4 hour break, like a 4 hour sleep because of my elven sleep
Yeah,
thing.
Nice.
yeah. Guinea most likely will sleep a little bit on the tree. He then just take. She would probably take the third watch. Guinea would probably take the third watch.
No problem. Uh,
Yeah, I
so
will take another watch as well if we need to.
yeah. So I mean,
Also,
if you
Guys will do.
you can give me
Guts, you should
some.
be full HP. Sorry.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. You can give me some perception checks. Sorry, give me some rolls for your watch.
Alright.
Okay. You start from the scratch, from the first one.
Yeah, and you can all roll them. It's fine, and we'll take it as it comes. So
It takes a while for my token to load because well, my computer is
that's
not
fine.
as fast as my PC. So
Jump.
sorry if I.
That's fine. And if it's acting up particularly bad, you can always ask me to roll for you. I have no problem with that. But in the meantime, an 18 to a 9 to a 12.
Um.
So yes,
Also, I would make note of the what dinosaurs were there? The
Dimetrodons. I'll put that in chat for
Metrodon.
you.
Yeah, I would take note of them to see if they're making any movements towards us or away from the river. Just keep an eye on them because I don't want them creeping up on us.
So Coppersworth, at least slightly familiar. Those are can't remember the name. What's active during the day? Diurnal.
Oh, I only know
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, they're diurnal. So they need the sun. Being reptiles, they're cold-blooded. They won't be out during the night. You've got other things to worry about, but not them. Yeah.
All right.
So as you guys are, is everyone getting off the ground? Is that the general consensus here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's enough.
Guinea loves sleeping in the trees. She's used to it by now.
Fair enough. There's enough space in the canoe for kind of one or two people to take a rest. And as you take turns listening out to the sounds of the jungle, to the millions of lives happening out around you. I mean, you can hear the calls. You see you see over the point of the night, kind of. Well, you hear more than see because it is pitch black. Various kind of creatures rustling through the underbrush, fairly small, heading towards the water to drink or looking for an easy target in the night. For instance, let's see here. Elixe, your watch is disturbed by a small little group of velociraptors. kind of come nipping around the base of the tree. They definitely smell something up there, and you can hear them kind of calling out in these little chirping, hunting calls, but scratching at the tree after a bit, realizing they're not going to be able to get up. You can see them all split up into the underbrush once more. And as you're about to kind of pass over your watch, you hear this very different sound erupt into the jungle, causing complete silence. Everyone
Yes, I'm silent as well.
Everyone wakes up in kind of a cold sweat, looking around. It sounded closer than you'd like it to be. A moment passes, and kind of the sounds of the jungle slowly start to come back to normal, and then once more you hear the sound of another creature, probably one that has fallen victim to this large hunter in the jungle. There's another brief moment of silence before the forest continues, and the cycle carries on. Someone is food out there. Thankfully, not you this night. So there's nothing you can do besides go back to your watch.
I think it'll be Guts' watch now.
Yeah. Thrown off. Let's see here. You keep as good a watch as you can. Nothing else that you notice comes towards your campsite at the very least. Nothing else that would cause you any harm, that is. And as you guys set up your rain catchers on the ground and while the night's away with your watches and just in deep sleep, you are not bothered again. At least you can see the sun start to rise once more above the jungles of Schultz, and you can hear the insects start to come out, the day life start to happen again, as you can see the jungle where you're in now much better than you could last night. And even nearby, there's a couple of what look to be paths through the underbrush, probably created by some of the larger dinosaur species. But it would seem that this is a fairly common watering hole, this place here. And the rest of the day is up to you as you kind of stretch, look around, start snacking on some dried fish, collecting your rainwater from the night before.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting.
I would
heading.
wanna
Yes.
cautiously go to the direction of where we had the sound and see if there is anything left from there. I want to see what happened there. If we can see any trace.
Oh, you
Just
mean the
wondering.
large, like the T-Rex sound?
Yes, if we can see like what.
It was a bit far away. You'd probably have to go a
I
fair
know.
distance to get there. It's not like right
I
on.
would I wouldn't I wouldn't go that far. I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see if
okay.
it was like very close to us.
Gine just wakes up and just casts mage armor just in case he has to go into combat. She looks. She just sits. She climbs down the tree and just sits. It's in the middle here, just meditating.
Sure. Overhead, you can see the large Quetzalcoatlus leaving their mountain homes, traversing the treetops of the jungle, kind of flying quite far up overhead, heading out to the ocean to catch fish for the day. A beautiful sight, these incredibly long wingspans, 20 feet, 30 feet in some instances. But, I mean, you can see the jungle around you. There's signs of creatures everywhere. If there's anything you'd like to do, yeah, particularly if you'd like to forage yeah, I mean, the day is yours.
I think Gine will most likely would just trying to conserve her energy, just eating some morning fish, dried fish, is not too much this time, as she doesn't want to waste her food right now. She has self control.
Okay, fair enough. So let's see. As some of you are milling around the camp in the morning, Drace, in fact, you look across the river and you freeze. You see about 5 or 6 humanoids crouched down a little bit from the bank around over here. and they seem to be tearing at some kind of body or corpse on the ground. They look fairly undead-like.
Yeah. Um. Well, I think I'll probably just leave them be. I'll point it out to the group, but say that we probably should get moving sooner rather than later
Oh,
before
sooner
they
is all
decide
better.
to cross the river.
As you
Yeah.
kind of step back, kind of the slightest rustle on one of the trees, you can see a head look up from the creatures over there, and for a moment there's this tense silence as one of the figures stands up, and you see this. You can see into their eyes at this distance. I mean, it's not that terribly far away. This creature is actually not undead. They've smeared
Oh.
themselves in all kind of detritus and foul animal droppings and everything they can. You also see that they look to have a blue triangle on their forehead, but it seems more painted on in this instance. And as soon as they see you, you can see this one flees just into the jungle, disappearing into the bushes. And one by one, they notice something's wrong and they book it.
Mm.
The object on the ground looks to be a zombie. They were all feasting on it.
Okay.
Interesting.
That gives
The
me
living that
like
feast upon the dead.
that gives me
Well,
like
the undead.
Walking Dead vibes.
And Coppersworth just shakes his head, makes a muttering of cannibals, and goes back to preparing whatever he's doing.
I actually would like to, if possible, try and cross the river and go over to that corpse.
Actually, does Guts know everything about that? Has he heard anything? Could I roll a religion or something like that?
Which you mean, have you heard something like right now?
I mean, zombies feasting to each other, is it normal or not?
Well, Coppersworth would be able to tell you there are cannibals. There are tribes of cannibals that feast on the undead, seemingly as nourishment.
Ah, okay.
As for crossing the river, you could bring the canoe down to do it. Would probably be better than getting your clothes wet in this kind of damp environment, but very possible.
Well, then, I mean, if we have to bring the canoe down anyway, I'd probably ask for a moment to inspect that corpse before we head out.
You guys can, if anyone wants to, can kind of keep a watch while you quickly dart onto the land. It's not that far off. It's about there.
Can I do a perception check to see if Drace is being stalked?
Yep, you guys can keep an eye out. Here we are. I've got this cool dude. So as you move to the body, Drace, it has been gnawed on. It was definitely undead. I mean, it's not bleeding or anything. It's been dead for a very long time by the looks of it.
Nat 1. I got Nat 1.
Nice. Unfortunately, you kind of see danger everywhere at the moment, but nothing particularly jumps out at you. Drace, are you wanting to perform any kind of medicine, arcana, anything? Investigation?
Yes, I was gonna inspect the body for, I guess, signs of supernatural decay or any sort of like something like poisons or I don't know, something out of the ordinary, supernatural in nature.
Okay.
Like if this flesh actually gave them strength or powers or empowered them in some way.
So make whatever check you'd like. Investigation, medicine, arcana.
Go for medicine, I guess.
Okay. medicines. So, I mean, zombies aren't a new thing by any means. This creature, from what you can tell, I mean, it's somewhat hard to tell because of the effects of the undeath. But what you would hazard a guess is that this creature has probably been undead for decades at the very least. You can see this blue triangle on the forehead, now closer than you ever have yet, and it seems to be actually discoloration on the skin. You would guess that it doesn't look like a tattoo or something, most likely part of some kind of ritual. Um, and I think I'm rambling so much that I forgot your original question. Sorry, what were you originally looking for?
Oh, it's just signs of the supernatural. So, like, yeah, that definitely answers the question. That it's got like the blue triangle on there. Has been dead for decades.
Yeah.
I guess with that, you know, maybe there's something to this. If I don't notice anything particularly off about this creature other than it is undead, it doesn't seem to be infested with worms or something of the nature.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's a healthy or a clean undead. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
You're not sure how those people haven't succumbed to disease and death already at this point. But yeah, nothing seems out of the ordinary as far as this specific zombie. It seems like a zombie like any other.
Okay. I'm going to do something probably terrible. I'm going to try and take a bite of flesh from this creature. Saw the other people doing it.
Oy vey. Okay.
That's awesome. Okay.
It is foul. It is disgusting. I mean, I can't imagine what it must taste like. I would say, what kind of would your character be an old hand at this kind of thing, or is this new
Definite.
ground for you?
So definitely not eating other undead, like other undead creatures, but eating into people, humanoids. Not the first time.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see here. So I want you to please give me a Constitution saving throw. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, you kind of as soon as you put it in your mouth, it's disgusting, and you can probably feel the uncleanliness, the bacteria from the jungle beginning to set in. Are you going to go all the way? You're just going to swallow?
Yep.
All right. So you can feel as you're digesting it, your stomach is going crazy. Thankfully, yeah, you're probably going to suffer a bit from that down the line. You're hoping you're not going to get like any physical diseases from it.
What? Eating an undead? Is he gonna suffer from that? I can see that happening.
Hmm.
Gine just walks back, just sees Guts walks to Drace and just follows him and just sees Drace is eating. Why are you eating it?
There were creatures over here, people. They were eating it. Perhaps this offers some sort of protection.
I think I would perk up and say, I agree with Gine. Why are you eating this before I purify the food? I have a spell for that. Come on, Dwayne.
You should not be
More of
eating.
a matter of experimentation.
Yeah, can I try to determine what Drace's race so far has been after this? Because Gine is quite curious on what Drace actually is.
Well, Drace, what do you look like? Do you just look like a human?
More or less, more like a half elf, but
Okay.
yes, except quite withered. quite wrinkled and actually a discoloration of skin and pretty sickly looking. Pretty sickly looking already, so
Okay, so I mean, yeah, you can see that she just looks like a half elf that definitely does have some health issues of their own. Was there something more than that that you wanted to try and ascertain?
I was hoping to see the teeth of Drace.
um,
Do you have weird teeth, Drace?
he does have fangs, yes.
Okay, but would you take the effort to kind of hide this from people?
Mostly yes, but not necessarily. I mean, it depends on how much Gina is like inspecting. She's going like right up to him and in his face and like checking out his teeth in particular. Then it's like not too
I
much I can do to hide that.
I think Gine would do that. To be curious. Uh,
Sure.
Gine, you have fangs. And she pulls back her head. DM, can I do what kind of check can I do to determine what race actually is?
Well, I mean, there's a variety of things that you could be. I would say I wouldn't really want to metagame too hard if Drace doesn't want to race to be known. Drace, are you comfortable with that, or what? Would you rather keep would your character rather kind of keep it secretive?
For the most part, unless like really pushed. I mean, we're out here in the jungle, kind of alone, so it's not a big deal at this point. It was mostly like in the city. Yeah, maybe don't just shout out to everybody. But yeah, he doesn't care that much. DNA's really interested and just asks him. He'll say
Uh,
that he's been touched by undeath before. How about that?
uh, are you a ghoul, a vampire, or something that eats people?
Could say that. A vampire, to be specific.
Uh, you're a vampire?
I
Why aren't
have
you
had.
affected by? But why aren't you affected by the sun?
It is due to the nature of my blessing, I suppose. Or curse. Whatever you want to call it. I have been touched by a vampire before. Bitten.
So you're a vampire. So you have the abilities of a vampire, but you're not entirely a vampire fully.
I don't know.
Uh,
Call it what you want.
I
So
mean,
Guts at this
yeah,
point, Guts is kind of watching you guys having this conversation. You see the bushes rustle up ahead. You guys have been on this side of the river for too long, and you can start to see some undead beginning to file out of the tree line. Are you? What's the plan? Are you staying and fighting, or retreating back to the boat?
Guys, I think we should retreat. Also, I've been there the whole time. If that's okay, I
Yeah,
had to get some keys, so I couldn't interact with roll 20.
that's fine.
okay. Uh, maybe Grace, Grace, learning about your I have vampires is going on, but maybe we should go back to the boat.
Yes. This was not very fruitful, but at least it satisfies my curiosity.
It wasn't fruitful.
Eh,
It was corpseful. Sorry.
So as you all retreat back, you can see kind of one, two, three undead beginning to pour out of the bushes. Some of them fall upon the body on the floor already, but most of them just head towards the scent of fresh meat, which is you guys. And as you push off onto the river, you can see some kind of getting up to their knees and just immersing themselves in the river to be swept away by the current. So thankfully, you're able to get out before you are bogged down by the creatures. And you start to head on, having experienced your first night in the jungle. Continue on the River Ocean Star as you head deeper into the jungles of Schultz, effectively. Now, get some perception checks from those of you keeping watch for the day, please.
Yeah, I'm still keeping watch. A little less spooked after last night, but I've actually even more spooked after last night with the T-Rex roar.
Okay. Okay. So, Elixe, as you kind of get around, you spend the entire morning rowing. You hear a couple of screams and chirps. You see a couple of monkeys, in fact, swinging from the branches nearby. And about, let's see here, it's about 3 to 4 hours into your travel that you see something on the river up ahead. There look to be, in fact, a bunch of reed huts built on stilts above a bit of a swampy area, as one of the river. As the river takes one of its turns, it's kind of overflooded its bounds and created a bit of a swampy area.
So what do I see there? I didn't understand.
You see reed huts that have been built above the river on stilts. There's about
Oh,
4 or
huts.
5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some kind of creature living above the waters of the River Ocean Star.
I would point it out and ask the group if we should sail next to it, because I feel like we would be more vulnerable. Maybe we should just go around it. What's the plan?
I mean, you have to go
Uh,
past it in some aspect if you
Yeah.
wish to continue the river.
Can Guinea just look at the creature that's just above the water just to see what it is?
So, I mean, you don't see anything at the moment, and as you guys watch, eventually you do see a creature step out of one of the huts. A long-legged creature. It looks to be like a giant
Oh.
crane, effectively. You hear Coppersworth mutter under his breath, Ebly, they live on the rivers. They are intelligent creatures. Be careful. They like to bargain.
I think Guinea would not look at the bird that much. She would probably just be focused on seeing if there's anything else close to the water that they should look out for.
Okay, you can give me a perception roll. Does anybody else have something to add?
One
Not
down.
20!
Nice.
No, I
Oh,
think I
not-
would just keep a watch on them.
Okay, so you're not going to try and
Well, now-
interact. Yeah, yes, Guinea?
I got not 1 to a not 20.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so I mean, you do see the river is teeming with life, most likely. Most of it food for the Ebly itself. You start to sail past. You can see one or two of them come out of the huts to watch you as you do. But if you are not interacting with them, they don't bar your passage, and you can actually manage to get past without any issue. You soon turn the corner, and you put these large stalk-like creatures behind you. As Sun Guinea, you notice something nearby. There looks to be, and let me just get here. Here we are. There is actually, as you're kind of sailing around near the next bend in the river, and you go through a particularly dense area where the canopy completely cuts off any light from above, and it is beautiful for what it's worth. You can hear all the creatures in the jungle around you, but there looks to be a bit of construction work, some kind of like statue or bit of masonry that you can see on the side of the river that looks about 10 feet tall, overgrown with vines.
Whoa. Amazing. Look at that statue's definitely was here for a long time, hasn't it?
Can I decipher? I don't know if from that distance I could decipher it, but where is it? Just a moment.
I mean, it's not
Still
too
don't know.
far off. You're welcome to get closer if you wish. It doesn't look
Yeah, I'm kinda
dangerous in any
interested.
sense, but yeah, okay. You're looking at it with your historical knowledge. This is looks to be a statue of an ancient warrior. As you kind of get closer, you can start to make it out a bit more, and you see the same kind of symbol that Coppersworth has idealized. This maze is emblazoned in the creature's chest. So it looks like it is some kind of representation of Uptau.
And do I know who, like, which race created it? I should get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you would
Or
you would imagine it would have been the kind of the ancient Tabaxi tribe, which was the original human tribes of Schult.
seems like they're anything to do with the Uptao is them, so that's good to know.
Yeah, and you kind of see the same kind of. It reminds you of the maze that you saw within the tunnel.
Could I inspect the sign, see if there is anything secret about it, like the other one?
Sure. You can make me an investigation. I think would be
Yeah, I'm
appropriate.
just opening my Kirk shit. Just a
No problem.
moment. Investigation. Oh well, too bad.
What did you get?
7. Unfortunate.
7. Let's see here. Yeah, so with the 7, you don't really see much more than you have experienced already. But what I would say is that the last time you encountered this kind of pattern in particular, you interacted with it to some result.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. If I don't find anything with investigation, I feel like my character would probably assume it's not the same case. But if like I would try to look for the same button. If there is not the same, if it's not the same place, and I assume I look for it and I couldn't find it,
Yeah.
I would be like, well, that's
So
disappointing.
you're struggling. The DC is only at 10, and seeing as you got a 7 and you've encountered it before, we'll say that it takes you about, if people are willing to let you do it, it will take you half an hour to actually uncover the correct patterning and movements here to pass through the labyrinth.
Ooh. Well, if they don't, then yeah, I would try. Yeah, I would insist. Like it must be here. I promise you, it happened last time. It must be an entrance.
So, as everyone's just kind of waiting for you to hopefully find something from the statue, bobbing on the surface of the River Soshan Star, looking around, you can't really see the Ebly huts anymore. You finally kind of get the right direction and motion within the maze, and you feel something, kind of like a bit of a warm fizziness that encompasses your hand and then your whole body and then kind of fades. And you get the feeling that let's see, how would I say this? You get the feeling that you are being aided by some knowledge of the jungle, and you effectively gain the ability to cast the spell Find the Path once. Without
Use that
without any material components and stuff.
That's awesome. Can we? Okay, well, I will let the party know that I feel like I can find a one thing if you would want. I'll look up the spell because I don't exactly know how it works. I know it's
Sure. It's fairly high level though for what it's worth. But you feel the statue kind of drain of any stored energy. You don't think it'll be capable of this again, at least for a very long time.
Well, I would still ask the party to note this area. We need to, if we want to find it again.
Okay. We should probably get moving just in case. Are we on that side?
No, it's on the river, so you're still in your canoe.
Oh, thank goodness. We should probably keep moving.
Yeah, sure. As you continue on, only about half an hour later, you do come across what appears to be the unfortunate sight of another group of travelers that didn't fare so well. You don't really see any bodies per se, as they've probably been dragged off by the local flora, but you do see the remains of a campsite, a bit of a shredded tent against one of the trees, fairly close to the side of the river. it looks like someone didn't fare as well as you guys have been faring so well so far, at least. But Camp Righteous lies about a day and a half's travel up ahead. And so unless there's any detours you guys wish to take, you can keep an eye out. So you can give me some more perception checks for the fresh day up ahead.
I would.
Yeah, Guinea would be doing that as well.
Do the bodies, of those that have fallen, are they wearing like any uniforms or anything? Do they look like they've come from this camp, this
I don't think
outpost?
we saw any bodies.
You give me a perception check, but there weren't any obvious
Sure.
bodies. Ouch. So like you see a hand and you get all excited for a moment, and then the hand moves and you see it's like in the mouth of a velociraptor that's like and like runs off into the bushes.
Alright.
No clues for you.
Guinea got 23 on her roll. I'm doing really good perception checks now.
You saw Guinea as the creature ran off. There was a ring on the finger, and you just managed to, in the flicker of a bit of sunlight from the canopy, make out that it seemed to have a fist with a fire around it. And you know this to be the Flaming Fist's insignia.
Looks like the Flaming Fist tried to camp here. Didn't fare it so well.
Do you guys intend to stop there, though, or are you just kind of sailing past? It looks like it's probably been out here in the jungle for a couple of days now. Lots of creatures have made their way through here.
So what was the question? I was reading the spell.
Are you
Do we
stopping?
keep moving, or are we stopping?
I think Guinea would want us to keep moving to Camp Righteous.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, let's just finish the today, and let's. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so you keep on sailing, hoping not to encounter whatever creatures did that to the Flaming Fist group, and it eventually gets to the point where you're starting to see the sun is going down. And you're gonna have to think about camping again, and you can see you pass by, in fact, a herd of triceratops. You can see the kind of largest of them looking at you, keeping an eye on you as they seem to have kind of young next to them. And they give a bit of a warning bellow as you travel past, but you kind of give it a wide berth and maybe stop a bit further down the lane there. Sorry, Guinea, could you go on to push to talk? There's just a bit of feedback.
Sorry.
It's fine. So putting that behind you, you kind of start to keep an eye out for a good place to call it for the night. And I mean, now that you're this far in, you really can see the undead hotspot. As you've been traveling the whole day, has just been figures moving through the trees to the east. You're sure that there's probably very little dinosaur life on the ground, at least, that can actually survive in those parts of those parts of the jungle. But for the meantime, waiting until you can find somewhere safe, you pull up for a stop about half a day's travel from where you expect Camp Righteous to be. And let's see here. Now, as you guys begin to set up camp, is there anything in particular you're doing? Are you going to just try and repeat what you did last time?
I think so. The
Yeah.
ropes seem to work out pretty well.
I think Guinea will still meditate before taking watch.
That's fine. Now, give me some perception checks from everyone, please.
Mm-hmm. Oh, ouch. You seem to have trouble for rolling above 5 again, Trace. This game does not like you.
The jungle's curse. There's
Yeah,
the dreaded fives.
Why am I keep getting 12s?
Lots of 12s.
12 is like 12 is like my lucky
number.
number.
It's a good number.
swear.
Not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just my lucky
Well-
number right now.
I wouldn't complain about a 12 right
So-
now.
It's above average.
Who's taking first watch?
I would take second watch after taking my rest, so not me.
I can take the first watch.
You'll take the first watch, guards. Perfect. So,
Yane will take third watch.
okay, that sorts that out. So, let's see here, guts. As you are keeping watch, you do you hear something in the underbrush, which does attract your attention. You can see a family of boar move into the clearing and are very carefully moving around, jumping at the slightest sound, probably on their way to the river for some water. And you don't think anything of it. I mean, they probably make some nice food if you were inclined to kind of hunt one. But as you look to the side, you see a bit of movement along the branch. And you can see that where Coppersworth is, there's some kind of vine that's coiling itself around the branch and around Coppersworth as well.
Not good.
I approach that, and I'm gonna stab it.
Nice. It always works. Give me an attack roll, because you can see this does look like a constrictor snake that has begun to tighten its hold. Good heavens. Yeah, you just take the head right
That
off in
is-
one swipe.
I am
And
just amazed at his damage every
You
time.
see Coppersworth jump up, completely terrified, and as the head falls down into the underbrush, scares away the family of boars. But you can see this heavy snake start to uncoil from the branch and slam down into the floor. I mean, if you're inclined, there's probably a lot of good meat on it.
Yeah, is it dead or is it alive still?
Very dead. You took its head off.
Okay, nice.
And Coppersworth thanks you profusely. And yeah, he's very glad that you were the one on watch when that happened.
Yeah, no worries. I will tell him.
So, at least avoiding some problems with a giant constrictor snake. There is something interesting as you wake up in the morning. Thankfully, I mean, you see a couple more creatures head towards the rivers, but nothing that, thankfully, your rests in the trees have been, for the most part, fairly undisturbed. But you see something extremely strange the next morning. As you climb down, now that you have vision with the sun coming up, there is a patch just a bit further away from the water. We'll say, as one of you are kind of going to take your morning ablutions, just moving a bit away from the others to find a bit of privacy, you come into contact with a section of the forest that is locked in the heaviest patch of winter. The leaves are frozen, there is snow on the ground, the trees are covered in ice, and it seems to be in a circle, a sphere.
Yeah, this is. It seems strange, I guess.
Was it there beforehand, or when we do we feel like it just appeared today, or do we feel like
It's hard to say. You probably wouldn't have seen it the night before with how dark it gets. But what you can see looks to be, I mean, roughly about 100-foot radius. It's a pretty large area, and everything within inside this kind of unseen barrier is sitting at around negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, let me look it up.
It is freezing. Yeah, so in the negatives, the Fahrenheit's pretty close to Celsius, so it's probably around there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's
once it
very
dips into the
cold.
negatives.
Yeah, it is very cold. Everything in there is frozen. This is definitely something out of the normal, because, I mean, the forest around you is sweating. It is hot. It is humid. It's like a rainforest.
We can flash freeze food if you want, guys. No, we wouldn't know about this technology. Well,
Yeah, this is strange.
let's avoid that. It seems dangerous.
Yep, it definitely is weird. You're welcome to give me perception checks if you want to kind of look around there a little bit, or if you just want to avoid it and head back to the boat, it's on you.
I would just avoid it personally.
Fair enough.
Tina would probably avoid it as well since she's not used to the cold.
Yeah.
Is
it's-
there perhaps some sort of magical traces, if it was a spell of some sort that did this? Is there any sort of residue or indication that it might have been a magical spell?
That's going to be hard to ascertain. Are you just trying to use your arcana, or are you going to be making use of any detect magic?
Let's see.
If you're just going to be using raw arcana, it's going to be a pretty high DC.
I would ask the group if they would allow me to have a few minutes to perform a detect magic ritual.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you're
feel free to
interested in
do
it,
so.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll watch out
The
for your
more
back.
that we can learn about this, the better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll take some time to do that and set up detect magic.
So, as the spell goes off, you can feel a subtle shift in your vision, almost as if you've put on those red and blue stereo 3D glasses from the movie. And in between the colors, you see, in between the overlaid images, you can see the kind of the weave as it stands. Mostly mundane forest lying around you, some coming off of your friends, of course, but the area up ahead is strange. First of all, so kind of as you see the normality of everything around you, you see it in front of you in the sphere, but it seems kind of reversed. It's hard to describe, but if you had to guess, you'd say that the place in front of you has experienced magic. It has experienced magic, and it has been permanently changed to the point where this is now natural. There's no aura of magic left there.
It must have been some extremely powerful spell. Perhaps the work of a god.
Yeah, those seem to be very prevalent here, all around.
Tina is still. Tina is probably just meditating in somewhere in the forest, or as close to the group, but a little bit about 30 feet away from the group.
Sure.
Just meditating to connect to the forest, since since monkeys are since the monkey, this is basically the monkey's domain. So she wants to see if she can connect with some Wukong in the forest somewhat.
Okay.
Would we? I don't know how it works in this era. Would we know that cold would preserve food in this era, or would we not? That's
Cove.
I just
I mean, yeah, that's common knowledge here.
yeah. So if Drace realized that relays that it's permanent, I would call out that we could use this to our advantage. It's like a place to store food. Things can't like stay there for too long.
I mean, you do see disruptions in the snow, like creatures have meandered through here by the looks of things.
Well, that idea is out of the question then. Anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, they'd probably be dragged off.
All we have to do is make sure that the food is tied up properly, and that should suffice, but I don't know. I'm interested,
idea
but
for the
not so
future.
much to experiment myself to see what would happen if one of us crossed this barrier. Would we be flash frozen?
Oh. Well, I have a spell for that, but I've not prepared it. I wouldn't have prepared it anyway, so maybe on the way back I could try something.
Sure. Now, Sangini, as you're meditating and kind of looking around at the forest in its beauty, the kind of sun shafts penetrating the early morning mist, you do see a strange creature, in fact, moving in the tree next to you. Not so much a monkey. It looks more. It's got long claws. It doesn't look too impressed, and here we are. It makes a strange sound, like and like scratches at its belly, and slowly kind of climbs up the tree branch further.
All the creatures in this jungle are like barely cute and barely like terrifying at the same time. It's disturbing.
And you can see Coppersworth, who's next to you on the tree, would at least recognize the creature. He'd pointed out as a Zorbo. And being your guide, in fact, would go so far as to say that Zorbos usually feed on wooka nuts and wooka trees, and the nuts, if we can get some, are very beneficial.
Maybe you should follow it. You would know where the coconuts are. Yeah. I think we should just keep going, right?
That's up to you guys, 100%.
Yeah, I would defer to the party.
If the nuts are pretty beneficial, we could get all of the nutrition we need here or can get. Maybe if we do follow it.
It's not
DM.
so much. Sorry to interrupt you. It's not so much that they're beneficial. He would know that they're a useful natural source of light. Wooka nut rattles when shaken, causing the shell to shed bright light in 10 foot and dim light an additional 10 foot
that's cool.
for a minute, and then you can shake it again to make the light happen again. But if the shell is cracked, then it loses its magic.
Oh, cute.
DM, I might have to switch to my phone's Discord because my laptop's gonna die soon.
No problem.
I'll
We're
just
probably
be
going to be wrapping things up fairly soon anyway.
Yeah.
What's
I
that?
would say
Elixe?
if Copperworth told us about those nuts, like the shining nuts, I would. That actually sounds pretty useful.
Sure.
Like to illuminate. So
You can watch
would,
the creature and kind of take the time to locate a couple of pockets of these nuts yourselves, climbing the tree to getting it. You see, the Zorbos don't look too impressed with you heading into the tree. Little koala-like creatures, one of them kind of hissing, and you can see a bit of saliva dripping down its chin.
I throw it like a Russian, maybe see if it's if it eats it.
Okay, let's see, like a meat ration, right?
I guess, yeah, it wouldn't make sense it would eat it, but I'm guessing that's all we have.
You guys hear me? You
The
guys hear me?
creature grabs
Yes.
it and it rips at it.
Oh, nice. Here you go. Trade.
So we'll say for the meantime, you're able to come away with 3 wooka nuts for your trouble.
All right, good.
And as we head back onto the river, hopefully towards, well, I mean, as you head back onto the river, you can see it's pouring hard today. And I mean, even to the point where it's kind of uncomfortable. You have to start emptying out the canoe every hour or so. The sound of the rain just heavy, drenching you guys in a moment from setting out. And there's no relief up until about midday, where eventually from around the corner on one of the bends of the river, you see something up ahead, and you come across an abandoned riverside camp that has been strewn with wreckage. Camp Righteous itself on the horizon here. Let's just get you onto the correct map. The tents, as you kind of pull up to the sides of this area, the tents are moldy and they're tattered, and the permanent structures appear to have burnt to the ground. There are 2 intact rowboats that are tied off to a short dock nearby. North of the camp, there is a ridge built into which you see an 80-foot tall stone statue carved to look like a man with a crocodile on his back. And between the statue's feet is a stone archway that leads off into a dark tunnel. To the left of the statue is a crude animal pen. There seems to be some kind of panicked bird running around inside of it. But otherwise, as you come up to Camp Righteous, there are no other signs of life here. But that is where we're going to be ending today's session.
All right. Awesome session.
It was nice. It was
Yeah.
nice. Actually. It was quite nice.
Good job, you guys have pushed hard into the jungle, survived at least the first couple of encounters. They have been fairly kind to you, though. I mean, let's just hope we don't get anything too bad. When
Yeah,
I
like
played
T-Rex.
this in that other campaign, the guy really stuck to his random rolls hard, and we faced like a surprise round against 8 velociraptors, and we just wiped.
That
Yeesh.
doesn't sound good.
They all have packed
Oh
tech.
my god. 8
Ooh,
velociraptors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we didn't have to face those raptors
know-
and we stayed in the
But
trees.
the jungle is
In
don't.
another
Yes, Guts?
in another game, I play a druid, and the DM doesn't let me use velociraptors because I I use higher level spells with summon animals, and
Nice.
I can summon 36 of them in the highest level.
What
Oh,
the?
nightmare.
Velociraptors are right now the most broken. I think the Velociraptors are the most broken summons druids can do.
Yeah, it is.
Well, don't get into a false sense of security. The jungle is extremely dangerous, and you guys are going to be tested any moment. So, thank you for playing, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you. Can't wait
Yeah.
for next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.